Hi, today I'm going to talk about facial motor lesions, specifically upper and lower motor lesions of the facial nucleus. So first of all, I think I should define lesion. It's a term that gets thrown around about, but it's a very general term, which just means a tissue which has suffered damage through injury or disease. So the examples could be a tumor or actual severing of a nerve. So first off, let's start off with the anatomy. The anatomy of this is really important and is a little bit difficult. It's located in the lower pons, so this is actually the very caudal end of the pons. I always start off when drawing the pons by starting off with the fourth ventricle. So the fourth ventricle is located within the pons. Now in the pons, I'll just draw in the fourth ventricle here, and also off to the side here. Off to the side here, I'll put in the cerebellar peduncles. And the pons is down there. So I'm going to talk about the tegmental area, which is the area in between, which hasn't got anything in it here. This area is split up into two sections by the sulcus limitans, which pretty much just means the limiting sulcus, and it separates the alar plate from the basal plate. And if you don't know what that means, go check it out on Wikipedia. But basically, alar plates give rise to the sensory nuclei, and the basal plates give rise to the motor nuclei. So the facial motor nucleus is actually going to be in the basal plate here, separated by that sulcus limitans. So I'll draw in the facial nuclei here. So this is the seventh cranial nerve. And it sits about there, and it has a strange tract in that its white matter tract loops around the back there before exiting the brainstem and entering and innervating the muscles of the face. And this little bump it creates is called the facial colliculus, and that's just that bump into the fourth ventricle, and that's Latin, literally, for little hill. So you'll see other colliculi otherwhere, especially in the midbrain. So I want to just talk about this nucleus here. So I'll draw that over here. First of all, I'll start with the brain. I'm just going to draw out the pathway. So there's the brain, and next I have two of these facial nuclei. So there's one on each side. And they're split into two sections. There's a dorsal section, or at the back, and a ventral section at the front. So these are the nuclei. So nuclei being a collection of cell bodies that innervates the face, and the ventral part of this innervates the lower face, and the dorsal part innervates the forehead, and it sort of separates around through there. So these control the muscles of the face. So this, I'll just draw in the left and right on here. Now there's innervation from the brain down to the facial nuclei, and the dorsal nuclei is innervated by both the left and right side of the brain. However, the ventral nuclei is only innervated by the contralateral, so that means from the opposite side, part of the brain. So if I have a motor neuron lesion through here, this would be an upper motor neuron lesion. I actually cut off sensation to the bottom of the face, but keep it to the upper part of the face because it can get innervation from the other half of the brain. So I'll be able to raise my eyebrows. However, if I have a lower motor neuron lesion, so that's down here, that's upper motor neurons up here. If I have a lower motor neuron lesion, I'm not going to get innervation to either the top or the bottom half of my face, so I'm going to have total paralysis of the face. So diagnostically this is handy because it means that if I've got movement in the forehead only, it must be an upper motor neuron lesion. I'll just write that down here. However, if there's no movement at all in the face, that means that it's a lower motor neuron lesion. So it's a pretty easy diagnosis to make, just by getting someone to raise their eyebrows. And that's all there is, really.